Have you ever felt that your voice changes in English? I know it's super weird, but I want to talk about that today because that can be a determining factor for our confidence when we speak English. So let's get started. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alejandra. As you know, I am an English pronunciation and delivery coach, and I want to help you speak with clarity, confidence, and power. As we talk about voices changing in different languages and stuff, I remember one time I had a friend who was talking about another friend who was bilingual in English and Spanish, and she was basically saying, yeah, this friend, oh my gosh, like her voice changes so much. When she speaks Spanish, she speaks like a lady, super soft, but when she speaks English, she sounds like a truck driver. And no offense to truck drivers, but I just thought it was so funny because it is true. Like our voices do change depending on the language that we speak. And so the problem here is not necessarily that our voice changes or not. The problem is that we feel really uncomfortable when that happens because we are not used to hearing our voices sound different. And so I want to talk about that today. First of all, so that you can become more confident and so that you can understand a little bit of the science behind why our voice changes, but also just a couple of tips as well for you to actually feel comfortable in this new voice that you are developing. So a little bit of the science behind our voice changing in English. The way that you have to think about this is that whenever you speak Spanish, let's say that Spanish is your mother tongue, then you are used to moving your mouth in different ways. Your tongue placement is different depending on the sounds that you are making in Spanish, right? And so what happens when you speak English is that you are actually moving your articulators differently. Your tongue is placed in different ways, your jaw, your throat, like everything changes in terms of how you move. That means that when the air comes out to produce sound, it comes in different ways. So obviously it comes out the same in terms of you just produce sound and that's it. But because the positions of your articulators are changing, then the sounds may sound a little bit different. Obviously, your vocal cords are the same, everything is the same in that sense, so it's not that you change completely. It's just that there's a slight difference in how speech sounds to you. So this is great news because it's not just you, it's just science and it happens, and that's totally fine. That's absolutely okay. And so as I was mentioning earlier, the problem with this is that we're not used to hearing our voice change and it sounds different and it's uncomfortable for us, which can affect our confidence in our delivery and how we express ourselves. But let me ask you something. Do you actually really like your voice in your mother tongue? Let me ask it in a different way. Have you ever heard your voice on a video that you've recorded in the past, or a voice recording or something like that? Because if you have probably felt also uncomfortable hearing your voice in your mother tongue. And so obviously when you're speaking in your mother tongue, you're not really thinking about how you sound, but it's all it takes is just for you to hear that video that someone recorded of a birthday party where you're talking and you just feel kind of like, oh, instantly you feel some shame and embarrassment about that person who's talking, who's you, right? And so the reason why I'm saying this is because if that even happens in our mother tongue, how much more will it happen in English? And so it'll be even more evident for us that our voice is just different. This is something that you probably don't know about me, but I love singing. When I was little, I always knew that I had a voice for singing, and I also became a part of a choir when I was a teen. And yeah, just music has always been a part of my life, and I just really love singing. And the reason why I share this is because even though I knew that I could sing, I always felt really uncomfortable if I heard myself singing in a recording or in a video, because I just felt at first it wasn't me, and I instantly felt this feeling of shame and embarrassment about me. And the reason why I share this, like I said, it's because it has a lot to do with us feeling embarrassed and ashamed about who we are and our voice. It actually took me a lot of practice and a lot of mental energy to come to a place where I felt really comfortable singing. And the best thing that I could have ever done is to practice. And so I would put myself out there and I would sing. And even though I felt uncomfortable, I got to a point where I actually was able to sing in front of people and I didn't feel ashamed. I got to the point where I could watch myself in a video singing and I was okay. I was perfectly fine and I didn't feel uncomfortable at all. And so this is really important practicing. It applies to languages as well. So if you're not used to speaking English regularly, this is going to happen. Every time that you hear yourself speaking English, you're going to feel that's not my voice is changing, I am awful, blah, 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 etc. So it's really important that you take this into account. So first of all, if you want to really be confident in who you are in English, you need to accept the fact that your voice may change a little bit when you speak English. It's not that you are going to change completely, it's just that it makes sense because of how your articulators are moving, right? So that's the first thing, really accepting that that's going to happen. And then the second step, which is even more important, I would say, is to master your mindset. You have to be aware of all the thoughts that are coming through your mind every time that you speak English. Oh, this person's going to judge me. I hate my voice. I don't like the way I sound. My pronunciation is awful. Do all of those thoughts sound familiar to you? Because that's what, I can relate to that. It is awful and it doesn't help you be confident because it's actually producing the opposite. And so how can you actually master this? Like I said earlier in my story about singing, practice, 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 practice. What does that look like? That looks like you putting yourself out there and exposing yourself to speaking English as much as possible. Obviously, incorporating everything you learn into your new speech, right? Because if you're not used to speaking English, then every time that you have to speak English, you're going to feel really ashamed and really, afraid of what other people may say about your English. Even though they don't necessarily think anything about your English, they just think that you're speaking English, right? So it's really important that you put yourself out there and practice as much as possible. I know it can be uncomfortable, trust me. I have been there in different areas of my life, like I said, with singing, also with speaking English, speaking French as well, because I mentioned it in my last video, but I lived in France for a while and it was really uncomfortable to speak sometimes. And so there are so many aspects mindset-wise that I would really encourage you to work on. I have actually made some videos about mindset and how to work through all of those negative thoughts in terms of speaking English, so I will absolutely link them down below so that you check them out. So remember, you're here to try to speak English with clarity, confidence, power, feeling like yourself, feeling like you own this language. Not in a bad way, but more like you can make it yours. You're the speaker, remember. This is really important. You're the speaker. You are not serving the language. The language is serving you and the message that you want to communicate. So be sure to remember that. Okay guys, this is the end of this video. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel here below so that you don't miss the next videos. Remember that I talk about pronunciation, delivery, intonation, how to express ourselves better, and how to convey our message with more confidence and power. Don't forget to like this video if you have liked it, and I cannot wait to see you guys in the next video.